Hey everybody, welcome back to ArtForm Intelligence. My name is Joe Ennis, and today I am joined by my co-host Hunter Waring. And John, what do we call you? The founder, the head accountant, head of HR, head of printing. There's so many titles. What do you go by?
Yeah, I guess co-founder.
Co-founder?
Yeah, co-founder or yeah, I do a lot of things, don't I?
I mean, a
Um,
lot. Yesterday you said I was making you be my full-time HR
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Yesterday, Joe was making me HR man. So, yeah, I'm multifaceted, but yeah, co-founder
Cool.
who heads up the print division.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk a little bit. Most of the time on this show, we want to give super informative, actionable steps and feedback and valuable educational content to listeners and viewers. But today we wanted to take a little bit of a step back and talk to John about art form just as a whole, and how it started, and kind of the journey, because we've been around for a while. Um, you know, Pretty much as long as Hunter and I have been alive. So why don't you talk to us a little bit, John, about just early art form, how it started, what it was like?
Well, I mean, it came about. I was I've grown up in the print business, so from as my earliest ages, I had my family has been running print companies, and so I guess it evolved into me following into that, doing little print projects when I was growing up. To At one point, I lived in California, and I started running a print company out there, and my father was running a company back here and doing a sales office for business forums. And I was actually in production. So he called me up one day and said, "Hey, are you sick and tired of having ink under your nails?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he says, "You want to learn how to sell?" And I said, "Yes." And so I came back to the East Coast and started working for him in his business, which was primarily business forms back then. So it was a lot of the continuous forms, checks, things like that, invoices, and um, did that for about 8 years. And then at one point, he was thinking about moving on and doing something else or retiring, and he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do. And I got tired of waiting, and I said, "Hey, Dad, can I just take some of my clients and go start my own thing?" And he said, "Sure." And I started ArtForm Business Solutions. So actually, it was ArtForm Printing Solutions, or what was it? It was ArtForm Printing and Graphics originally. So it was a traditional print company, and um, and just over the years, the printing business, as most people know, has really changed a lot. Um, Back in the day, it was you did a lot of manual work, and now it's all digital. So we just evolved over the years, and started offering more products and moved into promotional printing. So we were doing all the tchotchke stuff, and we decided that we were going to focus on events. So we started working a lot with associations, and they do trade shows and put on yearly events and things like that. And we were really instrumental in our growth was the work we were doing for associations. So, and from there, um, in the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years, um, moved to digital advertising and marketing, and that really took off. It's been an interesting journey. I've had ArtForm for, I guess it's been about 27 years, something like that. And it's been an interesting journey. We've done a lot of different things and had to evolve over the years to survive. And, um, we're in a time where we are really thriving, um, because of the product offering that we're able to offer clients.
Hmm. What would you say to listeners that either maybe are in printing or just graphic design? That is there anything that you've seen in the last, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years?
As far as the print business, it just continues to evolve. It's gone from um, color work used to be very expensive, and now it's very economical. So the technology keeps changing. Things that you're able to do, it's an interesting industry. And if you're on the creative bent, just the technology, the things that you're able to create um, in printed form is pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to go back actually. So you're saying you took all your clients and then you started ArtForm, what was it, Printing Solutions?
Printing and graphics, and then it changed to
But this was in, what is that, 97? Like what?
yeah.
Okay, so we go from 97 and then you start your own thing. Can you walk me through like how the technology started changing and how the business had to change with it? Because I feel like, you go in the 90s, early 2000s, iPhone, a ton of different stuff is coming out. Technology's going nuts. So how did that change?
Right.
I mean, what was that journey like?
Well, I mean, as far as on the print side, really, the technology is pretty drastic. I mean, everything that we were doing back in the day, it was a lot of manual work. I mean, from illustration was hand drawn, and a lot of times, you'd actually have someone on staff who could draw to create images and graphics and things like that. And then you would take that, and the way you process things to get to the final printed product was so different than it is today. I mean, we used to have to you'd somebody would draw a picture, let's say, and then you would take a picture of it and turn that picture, you'd create a piece of film, and then you would have, and this is what we would have called the pre-press department back then. They would take that piece of film and called strip it up, get it in position to burn it to a metal plate. That metal plate would then be hung on a printing press.
Oh, wow.
It gets inked up. I mean, it's so different,
Yeah, we're not describing the first newspaper.
Yeah,
With a bucket of paint and paintbrush.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah. No, it's really changed a lot. So, I mean, the digital world is, everything's done. Even printing presses are basically big computers now. So, technology has gone from very manual labor to just digital.
Do you miss anything about how it used to be compared to today? Just in terms of because I could see someone arguing like the artistry side of it is kind of losing its flavor or losing its.
Well,
emphasis.
I mean, I think it's an interesting question, because I think it's from a purist. I mean, you take any hobbyist or anybody who's interested in any type of thing. There are those that say, well, we used to do it this way, and that's the right way to do it. And it's like, from I guess from a creative side, to have all those steps is interesting. But as far as business goes, no, I wouldn't go back.
Yeah.
Because, the speed of things, you've got to move quickly. The technology has really sped up business life, and in every facet of business. So to go back would be like a shot in the head. So it would not be effective.
We still have a thriving printing division that does very well. We still print a lot, which, by the way, if you're interested and need some stuff printed, get in touch with us, get in touch with John, because we could probably do it for you. However, I wanted to ask, just in terms of, again, talking about how it was different before than it is now, and pivoting and evolving. A lot of companies these days, especially after COVID, things have just switched to kind of more of a virtual remote world. What are some of the things that you're seeing, clients ask for now that maybe they used to not ask for? And is there anything, and vice versa? Is there like, how has printing for companies actually changed, like the clientele, and what we're actually delivering to people? Does that make sense? That's my question.
I think so. Well, really, the thing that's changed the most is the ability to produce a print product quickly. I mean, I used to need a good 3-4 weeks to produce a product. Now I can do a lot of things in 24 hours. And it's because of the equipment. The technology has just gotten that good. And the steps needed to get to that printed product, as I discussed earlier, is just, it's a couple steps versus multiple steps. So, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, companies don't need to plan quite as early as they used to. I mean, and they can get things done at the last minute, although it drives us crazy. But the other thing is the size of the runs. I mean, because basically the way print is priced is the more you buy, the lower the unit cost. And that used to be a pretty substantial gap between those that needed, runs used to be, larger companies could order, 100,000 forms, and now they might order 10,000 forms. So, and when you order 100,000 forms, then you need to be able to store those forms until you use them up. So, but people used to buy large quantities because it would drive the unit cost down. So now you don't need to order quite so much. There's these things, there's a process called on demand that basically speaks to the fact that you don't need these large quantities anymore. So that was a huge shift. That's probably one of the most noticeable things I've seen, is this, just the quantity of things that people order has pretty substantially dropped.
Sure. And the speed that they can get those.
And then the speed in which they can get it is a lot faster.
Yeah. So, John, to wrap us up here, you've been around, you founded ArtForm, you've been here since the beginning. What has been your favorite part of the journey, just either observing ArtForm and where it's gotten to today, or your favorite part of working in ArtForm and where it's gotten to today? What has been your favorite part to see and to experience up to the success that we've had today?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind really is the relationships that we've had throughout the years, both employees and customers. We actually have one customer who, I think it's just one, but since the beginning. So we've had this one customer for 27 years. So, that's pretty good track record. Just the people you come into contact with, the customers that we've had over the years, there have been some really good relationships that have come out of that. From an employee standpoint, we, from the very beginning, hired a lot of people that were not so seasoned. We had a lot of young guys working at ArtForm early on, and we had a lot of fun. It was hard work, and we would have our times where we really needed to focus, but it was enjoyable to kind of mentor younger guys starting out in business and helping them try to figure out what they wanted to do. And we'd hire some guys that thought they wanted to be in sales. some would do really well, and others came in and go, wow, selling is really difficult. I think I want to try something else. And, or people more wanted to be a project manager, and they were really gifted at that and dealing with customers and their demands, and others couldn't handle it, because customers can sometimes be very demanding, and some people are better able to shift with that and handle that than others. So it's just over the years, as I sit here think about this, we've had a lot of young people who have been getting into business and trying to figure things out and where they wanted to go, and those relationships, fond memories for me there. And for me, I mean, just the print business, it's had its very challenging times. I mean, the business going online so much, where people can buy things online, that has never been kind of our focus. We've always been that customer service company. And a lot of these online companies, people buy from them because they're easy, and the way people communicate has changed a lot. So that's been a big change. But with all, that to me is a negative. I mean, that companies that decide to buy like that, that's their right. But I think they miss out on the hand-holding, the direction, the consulting, the things that we offer our clients. And then finally, I still get excited about new things that come out in the print business. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and there'll be new products that come out, or new technologies or new processes, and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. We used to not be able to do that, and now we can, and we can do it, cost effective, and we can offer this to the small business. And even though we kind of focus mostly on medium and large companies, we're nimble enough to be able to really service anybody. So, these are all things that kind of keep exciting me and keep me interested.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I can relate to that last point, I think, just in terms of like, even with podcasting and video, things are always changing, but being able to educate people on just what is possible. Because I think sometimes there's this, like, with it probably very similar with print, where like people have this idea of like, man, it would be really cool if I could do this big thing, or I could do a live radio show or whatever it is. And it's a wonderful feeling to go back to those people and be like, you actually can do that now because of what we can do. So I think I can relate to that a lot. But John, thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful time working with ArtForm, and hopefully we continue to grow. And if you have any questions about printing or digital marketing or podcasting or anything, contact me, Hunter, John. Reach out to us at artformagency.com. We would love to talk to you. Thanks for listening. Thanks, guys.